Hi guys, back with another video. I hope everybody's doing well. I just came from outside, so just wanted to make a quick video. It dropped in my spirit like yesterday, but I was so tired that I couldn't film yesterday, so I'm filming now. This video is called my 7-day fasting and encounter with God, and my testimony. So I fasted for about 7 days, about near the end of last year, and I had just come out of a really toxic relationship. It was really quite eye-opening for me, and it taught me a lot about myself that I didn't know about myself. So yeah, I kept a diary for 30 days, and during the last week of the 30 days I decided to do a 7-day fast, and it was just amazing. If I'm being honest, it was just God is so good, y'all. Like, y'all don't even understand like what he's done for me, like on some real stuff, like real tip right now, like no, but God is good. Like, honestly, going through, you know, that fast really changed some things in me, because, you know, I used to self-harm. You know, when I was in school, I used to like cut my wrists with a blade, and I had a girlfriend in year 7. I was really quite flirty, you know. I didn't really respect myself. I didn't really have a father figure in my life until I got older. So I kind of grew up without that. Just my mum was a single parent. So I was coming from a single parent home. I had 2 brothers I was close with, a sister that kind of dipped in and out of our lives. I have 3 sisters and 2 brothers. The 2 sisters are my elder sisters that they live in Canada, and then there is my older sister that lives here in the UK, and yeah, she was kind of like in and out of our lives. So she's like the 3rd oldest in order. So the eldest 2 are live in Canada, and I don't really have a connection with them. It's only as we're getting older now that I'm kind of they're kind of flying over, and I'm getting to like see them in person and meet them. But growing up, I just knew that I had sisters that were abroad, and I never really got to know them. So yeah, I used to self-harm back in school, and during the 7-day fast, it was like, I've never done a fast like that. The thing is, I've been Christian for a long time, but you know them Christian, I was a big backslider. I was such a big backslider. Like, it's like it was an internal conflict inside of me. It's like I'm YOLOing, but then at the same time I love God. So it was like literally my life was a war of what's happening on the outside. So what's happening on the inside of me. So it was like God and the devil literally contending for me, you know. That's how my life was. Like, I'll be so in worship, so in love with God, but then I'll go and be like not respecting myself with men, and then just acting crazy, drinking, partying, you know, swearing. So I was a big contradiction. So when people ask me how long I've been a Christian for, or a follower of Christ for, I usually just say like I've been born again like last year, because my whole life, like I came to know God when I was younger, probably maybe like 13, maybe year 7. I was always talking about God. So, but I didn't come to know Christ until like recently. So I've been a Christian. I've come from a Christian home, because my mum became a Christian when I was like 7. So growing up, she actually wasn't. We used to see her, you know. My mum has her own story, you know. She before she was saved, she was different, you know. She used to fight, she used to drink, she used to, you know, she used to beat us and all of that stuff. She was quite rough. And so yeah, from there, I count myself as getting to know God as of last year, because when your eyes are open, you can see that, right, I thought I knew God, or I thought I was walking with God, but actually I don't know him, you know, and we still are still getting to know him, but it's just like I wasn't living right. I didn't really know Jesus. Like, I can't be a Christian and be hot and cold. You have to be one, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, and I wasn't living that. I was like literally living in sin and going to worship God, living in sin and worshiping God, you know. And I had the conviction of the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit was convicting me. Like, I'm so grateful for that. But it's like you ask for forgiveness and then you find yourself doing it again, and it was just a cycle, you know. And as I was growing up, you know, I ended up having a girlfriend in year 7, I think in year 8 as well. Well, the same girl. I used to self-harm. I used to drink. I used to party. I used to have a potty mouth. I used to think I was a guy. You know, I was dealing with so much. And I had anger and rage from an absent father, which played a big part in my relationship growing up with my mom and with men in general. I didn't respect men. I was quite abusive. I got to find out I was quite abusive when I got into a relationship, and I was really abusive to the guy. You know, it was just I was dealing with so much on the inside that I didn't know that I had. So during that 7 days that I was fasting last year, that's when God really revealed to me what I needed to change or what I needed deliverance from. So I really just took time to pray and fast and break soul ties, because I had a lot of soul ties from old friends and from old relationships and from people that I don't even speak to anymore, you know. And it's like I was watching so much preaching, and then there was one that Juanita Bynum was preaching on a pulpit. She was like asking God, like, why can't I get married? Like, what's wrong with me? Why is it that these men, they find me and they don't want to marry me? And the Lord said, you know, you can't get married because you're already married. You're married to this man, you're married to this man, you're married to this man. And obviously that's her story, but it just made me understand that when we open our legs, like outside of marriage, when we fornicate, when we indulge in sexual sin, we're actually married to that person in the spirit. And it's so dangerous, because you know, you can find yourself dealing with demons that you shouldn't even be dealing with, or that you never had before, because you have a soul tie. You know, I remember one of my brothers on YouTube, he was saying a story about he slept with a girl, and he just had this urge for a specific type of pornography. And later down the line, he got to find out that the girl was battling with that pornography, because he had never been into pornography before that. He'd never been somebody that's into that, but after he slept with her, you started to realize he had this urge, this lust for that. And that's a soul tie. That's the same thing that happened to me. You know, I had a spiritual husband. I had I was masturbating while I had a partner. You know, I was so angry. I was full of so much rage. You know, I said that I had forgiven my father, but when that relationship finished, and you know, watching the man walk away or watching the man leave, it brought back that trauma of having my father walk out on me. So I had been battling with the spirit of rejection, which was a big thing for me, because to see him kind of walk out just really took me back and reminded me. And the enemy was so heavy on me. Like, I would say from probably 2016 to 2018, I was battling depression. I was going through depression, and I didn't know until I come out of it that that's what it actually was. I used to wake up so angry. I used to have a short temper. I used to just flip at the smallest thing, and I had low self-esteem. You know, I had the enemy in my ear literally telling me, you are ugly, you're ugly, like, he's not gonna marry you, no man can ever want you, like, he's gonna walk out on you just like your father did. Oh, and you know the enemy, when he sees that you're scared of something, he's gonna make it happen. He's gonna feed off that, because that's his food. That's one of his meals. That's his starter. You know, is fear. He feeds off of fear. He gets stronger off of our fear. So I was really afraid of being a single mom. I was really afraid of being alone. Although I had been alone a lot of the time, it was just different. I had been really afraid of rejection, afraid of the cycle repeating itself. My mum being a single mum and kind of having a broken home is what I was so scared of, and it happened to me. You know, the enemy caused it to happen to me, or maybe it was God, maybe it wasn't the right relationship, you know, but the enemy fed off of those, and he would torment me. And because the relationship was already outside of God's will, I had already engaged in sexual sin. It already gave, you know, legal grounds for demons to just come and have a party, literally in the relationship, in my home, you know, because we did it the wrong way. We didn't do it God's way, and it was always going to end in a disaster, because you haven't done it the way that the Father has led you, you know, according to his word. You know, the Lord exalts his word above his own self. You know, he puts his word up there, and he watches it so that it will be performed, you know. So that's how much we need to value the word of God. You know, we can't just read it like a storybook. It is life or death, literally. And yeah, so in the 7 days, I had to renounce so many sins. I had to confess so many hidden and dark secret sins that I had done, and the Lord had delivered me and given me a new heart. He changed me, you know. He delivered me from the spirit of fear, from rage, from the spirit of anger. He delivered me from depression, you know. I just got to a point one day when I was like, God, I can't do this anymore. Like, I was literally flipping. Like, if my daughter did anything, I would just flip. Like, I would flip. Literally, it wouldn't even be a big thing, but I would shout. I would flip. And then I just got to a point when I just was in the bathroom, and I was just like, you know them cries when you can't even say words, fam? Fam! You know them cries that's like, you've cried in tongues, you've cried in your native language, you've cried in English. Now, you're just crying and making sounds.